Central Texas. Welcome to Kids Community Connections, 103.1 Kids FM. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host for this morning. You know, it's a couple of things going on, and we're going to talk about them. And one, I want you to remember, school starts Monday. Little people, yes, they know to look both ways before they cross the street, but if you think they're going to actually do it, you're crazy. Because they're not. Because they're excited to see their little friends, to show off the most important thing an elementary kid has. You know, the ones from the kindergarten, pre-K, all up to first grade. The most important thing that they want to show off is their backpack. I know you would say their shoes and their clothes. You got to have the coolest backpack. So they're busy on their way to school showing off their backpack. I don't like her backpack. I don't like his backpack. They're the backpack. So they're not going to be looking out for your cars. So you need to look out for them. The flashing lights for all the school areas started on Thursday, actually. And that was to get you used to the fact that it means slow down. So, you know, as we get closer to that, which is Monday morning, I want you to remember and be mindful that the kids are back in school. So you're happy flying down the highway days and you're happy driving through the school zone. They're over. So I want you to watch out for them. Be careful of them. And yes, some of them know how to look both ways, but first day of school, first week or so of school, that is not on their mind. And we know that. I mean, we were once kids and you busy talking and playing, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of the street and there's a car blowing at you. So remember, we did that. So let's not expect them to be any better than we were when we were their age, because we did the same thing. Also, this Friday, I'm going to say it again, this Friday, no driving, no texting, law starts. So I've been telling you to start 2 weeks ago. Stop texting and driving. Stop texting and driving. I've been saying it for 2 weeks, and I know there's some people still today texting and driving. You know, on Friday, they're going to be looking for you. You need to know. Friday, they're going to be looking for you, and it's Labor Day weekend, or they're going to be looking. And, you know, so don't get slapped with that fine, and the first thing you go is, I didn't know we had it. I didn't know. You should know. So I want you to remember, Friday, Labor Day weekend. I know it's a time, it's your last year to barbecue, your last holiday to do all these things. Don't text and drive. Just be careful of that. So those are two things you need to worry about. Keep in your mind, keep under your hat or wherever you keep it at. But I need you to remember that Monday, school starts. Friday, no texting, no driving. Also in our area and in Texas, we have the hurricanes that are landing and the tornadoes that are landing, and we have people in shelters. If you have somebody that's living in the shelters, there's a couple of things I need you to go and do. First of all, you need to go find out who's in charge of that shelter. Is the Red Cross in charge of that shelter, or the state in charge of the shelter, or the city? Why does that matter? Matters a whole lot. Because if Red Cross is in charge of the shelter, first of all, if anybody, let's say, that's not legally here, if it's a Red Cross shelter and anybody that's taken there, or, you know, because you got to move, if you're here illegally, they can't come and get you. Not the Red Cross is running it. So, you know, you can actually be safe in a shelter that's ran by the Red Cross if you're here illegally and, you know, you happen to get sent here to a place. If the shelter is ran by the Red Cross, you're safe. Police cannot come in and arrest you. They can't come in and ask any questions. You're under a safe shelter. Now, if you're in the shelter ran by the state, sorry, but they can come in and do what they got to do. If you're in the shelter that's ran by the city, the same thing. So we need to find out what kind of shelters that our people are in. Also, while you're in a shelter, the other thing you need to be mindful of is that everybody's in there. Most are from a disaster, but their mindset might not be what yours is. You know, so if people are in a shelter and you got family and friends there, check on them, make sure they're okay. You know, and let them know that just because everybody's here from a disaster doesn't mean they honest people. Because you got to remember, when they uprooted people, they uprooted some of the homeless, the crooks, and everybody else got uprooted with the hurricane, so they could be in our area also. So you need to be also mindful of that. The Army, the Salvation Army, will tell you that they don't feed babies. They provide no babies with milk or formula. They don't, because it's a perishable item and they don't carry it. If it's a Red Cross ran shelter, or Red Cross knows the organizations to call that will deliver food and milk for babies. I know somebody looking at me crazy when I said that. She looked at me like, what? You know, because I would say adults, you can start for a little bit. Babies need to be fed. But if there is, sometimes you have groups that will do an all call for different organizations and different people to bring baby food and formula to there. I know the last time I worked Killeen's shelter, and me and the lady at Red Cross, you know, we was gonna throw down for a minute there because she bringing in all this food for adults and I'm looking for the kids food for babies. I wanted to tell her to get out, but you know, I was nice because it wasn't the time to take that up. Later on, after the issue was over, me and her went back and I had to talk with her, and because I still think today that's the craziest thing ever, you know, for the Salvation Army to say we help everybody, and then here comes a disaster. Oops, sorry, we don't provide that. So those are some of the things that we need to be mindful of when we have our shelters open. Most cities, the shelters are open and they're ready for people, but there's something we can go by there too as an individual person. You can go by the shelter and see what they need. And I'm gonna say it on the radio, just boom. One year we went by the shelter to find out what they needed, and they were out of women personal products. You know, the little things that women use once a month? They were out of them. You have no idea how crazy we looked in stores buying all of them. We looked really crazy, and we felt crazy too, but you know, we had to provide them because they didn't have any. So, you know, and when she told us what there was missing, we were looking at her like, you really expect us to do this? Okay, fine. You know, but we did, and we took care of it. So if people want to know what can be done, then those things can be done. Also, if you have people that are staying in your house and they're part of the evacuation, leave them at your house is fine, but also go to the center to let them know that they're there, because if there's any help to be given, they won't get it because they're with you. So you don't have to take them and drop them off there, but you go by your centers that's open, go by there and ask them, say, hey, listen, I got, 8 relatives, 4 relatives staying with me, and they're from here. Oh, somebody said 9, and they stand with me. What do they need to do to register here? Because you don't want them left off because they didn't stay at the center. So go by there and find out. Like Tiger said, she had 9. Well, she need to go to the community center and say, hey, listen, they stand with me, but do they need to come here and get listed? Do they need to come here and sign their name on something? Because you don't want them to miss what everybody else will be getting simply because they didn't know to go there to sign up and say they're there.
What community center?
Killeen Community Center. Yes. I don't know if Heights. Yes. I don't know if Heights.
With the books afterwards? Okay.
I'm going to a special event center.
Oh.
Yeah. But you know what a community center is, on corner of, yeah. Well, go in there and just ask them. I don't know if Heights is open theirs yet. I don't know, but I know Killeen did. But you dare say if you got relatives staying with you, you go, or one of them could go too. But you need to ask that question, because last time people stayed with their relatives and we gave out food vouchers and they didn't get them.
Okay.
And that's because we didn't know where they were there. So that's very important to do, because we don't know how long people will be evacuated in your area or what's going to happen. Also, school kids. If you have any school kids and you've been evacuated and you got people living with you and they got kids in school, that's the second reason you need to go to the center, because most school districts will provide a bus from the center, the main center, to take those kids to school. The kids will be provided with a backpack, all essential things they need, but it's to keep them from missing school. So they will be able to go to school. So that's another reason you need to go by the center to say, hey, listen, I don't want my kids or my family members to miss anything. So once again, that's another reason to go by there, because, even though you got kids and they're with you, you don't want them to miss school, because they're sitting around already unhappy because they're displaced from their own house. And now they ain't in school, so they need to be in school. If it's 1 day, 2 days, they need to be there. They actually need to be there. And like I said, KISD sends a bus there to pick them up. So I'll say it 5 or 6 times. If there's a shelter, go to it. Let them know your family members are with you, and see what else needs to be done. Because like I said, last time we missed a whole lot of people, and people were upset. But you can't be upset with me if you don't tell me where you at. It's kind of hard. So those things I want you to remember, put in your brain, keep it there, because this is hurricane season. This one is seemingly doing a whole bunch of more damage than they thought. But as we continue to ride it out, you know, be careful. And also, if you got family members that's trying to play ride or die, tell them it's not the time. It is not the time to say, I'm going to ride this out. It's not the time, because you can't suddenly go, oh, I'm leaving now. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't. So I'm just saying, no people that's, you know, staying this out. No, don't be that tough. Weather doesn't know you. You can't go out and tell the storm, hey, listen, I'm staying right here. Just roll past me. Doesn't work that way. Right. So if you have family that's trying to hold out, call those idiots on the phone and say, pack up and roll out. Just call them on the phone and tell them, just get out. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so those are my announcements I got. I know I had a whole... Oh, wait a minute, I got one more. Then I'm going to get to my guest, but she's going to chime in on... My guest, she's going to chime in what I'm going to say. You know, last month, we did our Detroit story, didn't we? We did our Detroit riot story.
Yes, we did.
And then I got brave. I went to see the movie.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh, well, you know, I'm warning people from Detroit. You might not want to go.
I heard.
Then again, you might want to go because there's a whole bunch missing.
Right.
They missed the fact that our Congressman John Carter's had a court set up, had a special court set up so that all those people wouldn't go to jail. Mm-hmm. It was not in the movie.
Wow.
It's not.
Did he go to jail or something?
Yes, he did. But all that, it wasn't in the movie. Forgot all those things. Mm-hmm. The movie forgot the organization, the groups that stood up and said we're not having this no more. Mm-hmm. They wasn't.
Did they mention Coleman?
No, they wasn't in the movie. I'm sorry.
Really?
They wasn't in the movie.
Coleman?
It wasn't in the movie.
Wow.
So all those things that on the positive things that happened during the riot, believe me, though, there was a lot of positive things, and the movements that started after the riot, like I'll say in the middle and moved on, they weren't in the movie. So if you from Detroit and you go see the movie, I suggest you go on a Friday.
That's why people were saying they were mad.
Yes, go on a Friday, and you know the violence in there. If you're like me, I'm not cool with that because my mind frame changes to somewhere else. So I went on a Friday when I don't have to see people on Saturday and Sunday. But I'll still tell you. But I wanted to sit through the whole thing to see if the things that actually came out of it that were good were part of the movie, and they wasn't.
What about Martin Luther King?
What about it?
Was he in there?
No.
So what was in it?
All the violence, the mistreatment that the police did, basically that, and they.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Units, yeah.
And they told you about the Big Four, who they were. They identified what that means.
They beat you with them billy clubs.
There you go. Yes. And they told you, about the club that it happened at and the pockets that. But see, they only mentioned one spot when we all know that the riot broke out in many different spots.
Right.
On that lovely hot Sunday, or Saturday night, or Sunday morning, but they only listed the one. So, like I said, if you want to know more about the riot, go see the movie. But I'm gonna buy the book and see what the book is saying. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the violence she covered, yes, and some of the reasons she did, but the positive things that happened during and after weren't talked about. So
who is she that wrote the book?
I don't. It's a lady who did the movie.
Lady?
Yeah, a lady who did the movie.
Was she from Detroit?
No.
Wow. So how does she know what's going on?
That was it. According to I listened to it more on the radio. She did a lot of interviews.
Okay.
Yeah, she did interviews. So I'm just putting it out there.
Well, I bump into her in the industry then. Definitely.
So now what we're going to talk about we're going to talk about is, a lot of people are writing books and a lot of people want to write books and a lot of people have a story to tell. They need to be in a book,
right?
Exactly. And writing a book is one, but we're going to talk about from beginning of a thought to the positive and the negative, because, no matter what you do, you got to hit the two people, the positive and the negative. And if you hit them in the beginning, it's good, because then after your second time around, you already got this.
Right.
So I asked Tiger to come on, and her wife is here. And I forget her name every time I see her.
It's Nash.
Miss Nash, she's on here. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And Tiger wrote a book, and I like her book because it's about Detroit.
5-star.
Also, I like the book because I could close my eyes and actually visualize the book. Certain books you read, you close your eyes and they just closed.
Right.
You know, that's it. Nothing. But I could close my eyes and see your book. So first of all, let's go back to paper and pencil.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go way back there.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So what happened?
Well,
How did you what made you decide I got a story to tell?
Well, I had a story to tell because I was incarcerated, and for me to slow down, I was kind of wild when I came in there because I just didn't understand how they took me off the street and wanted me to adapt to this lifestyle inside with the food and all of this. And I had a different attitude, fighting, all that, you know what I'm saying? So this young lady put me to the side, and I thank her to this day, Tanika Lynch, and she said that I need you to come talk to me. And I went and talked to her, and she said,
First of all, okay, let's stop there. All right, being that you was tough and you was all that, you know, when you went in, was it easy for you to come talk to her? Or did you first say, I ain't talking to you?
at first it was like, you know, no, but you know, eventually I was ready to go home. You know, so she said, you have to slow down, you know, you're not gonna get out of here, they gonna glitch you. So I was like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, well, what's going on? She was like, I need you to calm down, write a book for the rest of your time, and that'll keep you out the way. It'll keep you in your room and to stimulate your mind and tell your story. So then that's when she came and got her book that she wrote and showed me. And she sat me down and she told me how to do it. And she told me how, when I'm writing, what to think about, how to do it, and da-da-da-da-da. I can't give out all of that.
Right.
So she was like, and when you get out, I want to see you do it. So I was like, why not? I got a story to tell. So that's how it began. So I got my paper. And by the time I was done, like in a week, like the book was done. So I held on to it until I got home. And I had already told God that I was changing my life in there. He wouldn't have to worry about me no more. So therefore I came home and put it on paper and got a publisher.
Okay, now what? After you put it on paper, you wrote it down in a notebook, and then you decided to get it published.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened when on that journey? Because I know some of your journey, but
Lord, you know
we need to we need to know, because people need to know when they go to publish.
Yes,
they need to
actually. If I knew what I know now, I would have did it myself.
Okay,
but since I didn't, I went to a friend that she published the book, and it was published and it came out. She did a beautiful job, and we stayed with her a year. My contract was a year. So what happened was, when my contract expired, she just gave me my paperwork and I was lost. I didn't know how to do the second edition of my book. You know, it wasn't no explaining, telling me, you know, breaking it down, because I feel like that they had an attitude with me because I didn't want to sell my books. I wanted my people to know the story. So I bought a lot of books and passed them out for free. And I asked her,
can we stop there? Let's go back. Way back.
Oh, back and some more?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to go to the proofreading.
Okay.
Y'all heard her. Y'all heard that, right? Did y'all hear that? Okay, go back to the proofreading. When you first, when the person you picked to do this, and she said, here's your first draft. What happened?
I don't remember. You were there. So
yes, I remember that.
Tell me.
I remember that the draft that you gave her, she changed a lot of the words to where she wanted to use.
Right. She did. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So go with that, because that was a nightmare day.
Yeah, she changed some of the words because she said they were too ghetto, and I went with that. So I said okay, and some of the words were changed. So therefore,
and she misspelled some words.
Yeah, she misspelled some words.
Because her
a lot of typos.
Her spell check probably didn't work.
A lot of typos was in the book, but she did an amazing job with the cover and the book, and I was appreciated, for that. She did do that, so that was my start off point. I can't grind on what she did because I'm moving forward.
Yeah, but people need to know. People need to know that rough draft.
That was a rough draft. I'm getting to it now.
Okay.
Now that was the first edition of Trapped in Both Worlds, Part 1. Now that was her for the year. So after the year expired, we was clueless. Me and my wife, we was just didn't know how. What are we to do now? She didn't explain anything. So cool. Me, by being ambition and a get-goer, entrepreneur. Oh Lord, I'm so sleepy. But anyway, excuse me. What I did was we Googled a lot of things, and we went with the, what was it? Create Space behind her, which we could have did the first time at Amazon, and it was so hard because the floor mat that she had put on the book, we could not get the floor mat of the same book, which was my book, and it was under her EIN number, and it was just a hot mess. And through the grace of God, we worked on it for 2 months, and we accomplished it in September, and the second edition came out. We had to go to some higher powers to get these POF files chopped. It was horrible. How, so we didn't know, by us not knowing, the second edition is a whole nother. We correct all the typos. Over and
over again.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead. You can.
Yeah, and then we made it where the book cover was the same, and basically everything was the same. I kept, because I did like the way she did the front part, but it was more of dealing with an attitude that I felt like that I did not have to deal with, because I'm trying to move my life forward, and I'm not trying to beef with no one or be mad at no one with, an attitude. And it was just like, I just did never go back to that person, and I just moved forward.
So what would you tell a person who wrote a book, did the first draft as you did?
Publish your own book, go to Create Space, and go from there and read whatever they say do is simple.
So that from there they can move on.
They can move on.
So, what in the interview process of a publisher, what should they ask?
In the interview,
right? When you go in to find a publisher, what's certain things that you didn't know to ask that you now know they should ask?
The POF file. What file are you putting it on? Because it was hard where every time we printed it out all together. So we had to figure out. I mean, this was some higher powers helping me with this project, but we overcame it, and what happened was we had to literally chop it in half to get the papers from being, because we didn't have another floor mat to go on. We didn't, and I got the higher powers working with me with the computers, and my friends, they helped me with UPS, and UPS was stuck. We were all stuck for a whole month, so they helped me, and we did it.